There is a skin hidden in a private Counter-Strike inventory so incredible that everyone is certain that if it did sell, it is guaranteed to sell for over $1 million. An amazing event that would generate an insane amount of interest in skins and headlines all over the media. Unfortunately, the guy who owns it refuses to sell it, so we will probably never know if it's actually worth that. And many people were resigned to the idea that we'd never get a $1 million sticker sale until another $1 million skin was discovered. Now, the events that led up to this were pretty incredible. Basically, Roffle, an OG trader, decided to do a massive trade-up session trying for a StatTrak factory new AK661, a skin that would be worth over $1 million if it did exist. Roffle didn't get shit from the trade-ups, but what he did get was the attention of a guy who had secretly owned one of these things for nearly a decade. The owner hadn't realised how much it was worth, and he proceeded to tell a bunch of people behind the scenes, with strict instructions not to tell anyone about it. But then he registered the skin on Buff, not realising this meant everyone would know, and very quickly the secret was out. So he decided to commission Roffle and Zippo to sell it for the humble sum of $2 million. Now, he quickly got an offer for $1 million. I mean, he'd actually got it before he even announced he was selling, but the seller wanted more, and not everyone actually agreed on how much it was worth. Roffle put out a pretty detailed statement in favour of $2 million, but the Chinese didn't seem to agree with him. Some of them said they wouldn't pay that much because it hadn't already been owned by a Chinese collector. Apparently that affects the perceived value of skins in the Chinese community. And the buyout was eventually dropped to $1.5 million. And at that price, it seems like a buyer approached them and then started fucking around and not replying with the sale already finalized. And it seemed like everyone involved was going to be left hanging, until last night anyway, when Roffle abruptly announced that it had been sold. Sold for an unspecified price to an unspecified buyer. Oh no. Okay, unspecified isn't 100% true. Roffle revealed it was somewhere between 1 million and 1.5 million. The fact there isn't more information can only be because the buyer asked them to keep it secret, which also means that if I was told anything private, I can't share it either. But I can confirm the sale is real. Is that price real though? Well, generally speaking, if you're trying to exaggerate how much you'd sold something for, which does happen sometimes, you tend to be a bit more vocal about the amount. Like you'd proudly proclaim it sold for $2 million or something, not, vaguely saying 1 million to 1.5 million. Being vague about it is the last thing you'd want to do. I'd also point out that Roffle and Zippo put up with some real bullshit from the buyer. They wouldn't do that for a lowball. As for the buyer, well, beyond the fact that he's probably not Chinese, we don't really know anything, and I think there's every chance, knowing what some of these collectors can be like, that we're never going to see this skin again. It was done via bank transfer, I can confirm that, so this wasn't some crypto scammer laundering money, and I am looking forward to people speculating that this is HFB's comeback. But seriously, I have some doubts the public will ever find out exactly who bought it. But these details aside, this is a huge moment for Counter-Strike. The $1 million skin sale has basically been over a decade in the making. It is the end result of a long process of skins getting more and more expensive and people developing more and more faith in the integrity of the market. And finally, someone has been in the right place at the right time to make a legendary sale like this happen. Seriously, this one is for the record books, and it's going to be all over the media pretty soon, or maybe already. And given the amount of negativity that surrounded CS2, sometimes for valid reasons, and how rattled the skins market has been lately, I think a story like this is very important, because there just isn't a negative spin you can put on it. This price isn't because of a bubble, it's the result of over a decade of steady growth, very different from something like the NFT craze, and now that it's happened once, it's going to be a lot easier for sales like this to happen in the future. And I think this also does highlight the need for something very important, extremely rare collectible skins in Counter-Strike. Valve simply hasn't added any of them to the game for years now. All the really famous stuff, Insane Blue Gems, Souvenir Dragon Laws, are all really old at this point, and the new releases that we get these days simply don't have the possibility of skins like this being created anymore. There aren't any new knife finishes with insane patterns, souvenirs have been ruined, things like that. And that is a real shame. There's only so much mileage this game is going to get from the handful of old skins that are rare and prestigious enough to sell for amounts like this, and I think Counter-Strike would really benefit from having a few more. After all, the main thing the general public hear about skins is that apparently the community has a gambling problem. This is a story that's considerably more positive, and I think a few super rare collectibles for the early days of CS2 would be a great thing for Counter-Strike. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. A big congratulations to Roffle and Zipple for closing this deal. I know they put a lot of work into it. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your guts. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.